Hi everybody, it's Catherine from In the Pink Designs. My project today is a box that measures 4 3/4, 3 3/4 this way, and 1 inch high. It opens like this. I don't have anything in here today because I don't have any Christmas goodies yet. I had to make this box in 2 pieces because it's such a tall tree. So they're not big. 2 pieces, 1 large piece and 1 small piece. Alrighty, so I am full of green ink. This was a little bit challenging for me, but it really didn't have to be that challenging to do this. But I did the layered tree. It has 5 layers. So I used my Stamparatus and I stamped the tree 5 times. And each time I needed 1 layer less. So I would ink up just below the layer I needed. But it got everywhere. I'm not, for some reason, I'm not a neat stamper and I'm not a neat painter either. I get it everywhere. So I have all of the 5 so you don't have to watch. I'll probably do one for you. But I had to do it 5 different times just to make the one tree. You don't have to do that. You can make, and you have to cut out the 5 different trees to make the layers. But each one of these trees you can just use as your one tree. You don't have to do the layers. All right. But I wanted to at least show you that one time. Okay, so let's put them to the side for now. And what we need for this project, I used again the Merriest Trees bundle and the Nested Essentials dies for the tag on the inside. All right, so we need 2 pieces of garden green cardstock. I mistakenly used shaded spruce here, but it's okay. We need 1 piece that is 8 3/4 by 8 1/2, and 1 piece that is 4 7/8 by 4 3/4. All right, so we need those 2 pieces. We used a lot of cardstock. From the dies, I cut the garland. It's a 1-shot, which is great. This piece here cuts all the garland pieces out. It's just 1 die. All right. So I cut that whole set. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. I cut this label from the Nested Essentials dies. It's about 2 5/8 by 1 7/8. I cut the star from the Merriest Trees bundle out of Daffodil Delight. And from the Joy of Christmas Designer Series paper, we need 2 that are 3 5/8 by 4 1/2. And that's because I made this top a tiny bit, 1/8 of an inch longer because of it has to come over. So it was a little bit short. So I just added 1/8 and it covers the top of the box that way. All right. So I needed 1 of each pattern that is 3 5/8 by 4 1/2. 1 piece for the back that is 3 1/2 by 4 1/2. We needed 2 pieces, 1 of each, that are 2 1/4 by 4 1/2. That's for this inside piece. And 2 pieces that are 3/4 by 4 1/2, and 2 pieces that are 3/4 by 3 1/2. All right, so that's all of the die cutting I did ahead of time and cutting for the paper. All right, let's go. This is my host code. Please put this in for any purchases under $150, not including your shipping and your tax. Okay, so it's your subtotal. All right, anything under $150, please put that in. Okay, so we're going to start with the piece of garden green cardstock that is 8 3/4 by 8 1/2. And we're going to start on the 8 3/4 inch side. Okay, we're going to score at 1, 2, 6 3/4, and 7 3/4. Then we're going to turn it to the 8.5 inch side, and we're going to score at 1, 4 3/4, and 5 3/4. Okay. Now for the small piece, which is 4 7/8 by 4 3/4, and we want to start on the 4 7/8 inch side. That's actually the only side that we're going to score on, and we're just going to score it at 1. Okay, now I'm going to fold and burnish all of my score lines. Okay, this piece that is 4 7/8 by 4 3/4, we don't have to cut anything on that, so we'll put that aside. Okay, we're going to have the 8 3/4 side this way. Okay, it's going to go from side to side as 8 3/4. All right, and we have a 1 inch strip at the bottom, and at the top is a 2 3/4 inch strip up here. All right, and this is what we're going to be doing. All right, I'm going to hold it here a little bit because I know, thank you so much for your comments. I know some people, whoops, love to have this on the screen a little bit. Okay, so we're going to start on the bottom left. We're going to go to the first score line, cut it to the first score line, and get rid of that piece. Okay, go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge both sides of that square. Okay, go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, and the next score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge both sides of that square. And then the last square we're just going to cut off. Okay. Now we're going to turn it the other way so that our 2 3/4 inch strip is at the bottom. All right, we're going to go to the first score line. We're going to cut it to the second score line and get rid of both of those pieces there. Okay, now go to the next score line and cut that to the second score line. Get rid of that rectangle on the bottom and wedge both sides of the square. Okay, now go to the next score line, cut it to the second score line. We're going to get rid of these 2 rectangles on the bottom. Okay, cut the 2 squares apart, and then wedge this inner square. And we're going to get rid of the square on the outside. Okay, and that's what your bottom should look like after you're done scoring and cutting. I'm going to put it up like this. And the top of it is just the same as when we scored it. Okay, this time, just because it's 2 pieces, the box is 2 pieces, I'm going to use my Stamp and Seal Plus, but you can use tear and tape or liquid glue. All right, so I'm going to put some Stamp and Seal Plus on both of these tabs over here. And I'm going to take the score line above the tab and make it straight with this rectangle edge that's next to it. And I'm just gonna, let me do one more on this one. We're going to make sure that the score line on that tab attaches to the side of this rectangle. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I should have put my tape down before. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing. The score line on the top of the tab is going to go straight with the side of the rectangle. Okay, and this is the bottom part of our box, and this is going to close like that. All right, and now I'm going to take my top, and on the back of my top, I'm going to put some Stampin' Seal Plus or liquid glue. Make sure that when it's closing, that the left-hand side is where your rectangle is, okay? And flip it over and put your adhesive over there. And then what we're going to do is attach this to the other side of where the flap is, and just make sure that when you put it down, your box closes. All right. And then just make sure that you push down the inside too. And that's your box. Okay, now we need our pieces of Designer Series paper. So first let's put for this flap, they're a little bit bigger. The two pieces are 3 5/8 by 4 1/2, and they're going to go on the top and the inside of our flap. Okay, and then for this flap, we need two pieces that are 2 1/4 by 4 1/2. And they're going to go right here and right there. Okay, and then on the back, now on this one I didn't put a back, so if you would like to have a back, we need one that is 3 1/2 by 4 1/2. This uses a bunch of DSP just because it's such a big tree, but this would fit on a regular card, so that's good too. All right, and then the long sides are 3/4 by 4 1/2, and the short sides are 3/4 by 3 1/2. Okay, now we're going to let that dry while we do our stamping. All right, now I'm going to get my Stamparatus. This is no longer available, unfortunately, but there are other ones on the market. All right, so we need some basic white. I think I started with a piece that was 4 1/2 by 5 1/2. Probably 4 by 5 now that I'm looking at it. All right. And I'm just going to put this down. I'm going to make sure that it's in the spot. Yeah, probably 4 by 5 for the first, and then it gets lower and lower. And I'm just going to put my... All right, and then I'm going to use Garden Green. I'm using my Stamparatus because I don't feel that it comes good the first shot. You see how I get ink everywhere and it lands up on me. I'm just going to push this down. See, I don't like that, so I'm going to keep doing it. And this one is for our full tree, so the first one you have to do the whole thing. Yeah, one more, I think. Great. Okay. And then I get smaller pieces of paper, and I did put some scrap just so that it didn't get on my mat, or you can put the paper that's under there. You only have to do, in the second one, you only have to do from here up, the next one from here up, the next one from here up, and the last one from there up. All right, I went through a boatload of baby wipes doing this to get it off of my Stamparatus and my fingers. But I think if I'm doing a card, I would probably do the whole thing, but I don't know if I would need to layer it then. So doing the whole thing is not a big deal. It's the layering part that's a pain. But if you have the time and you want to, that's fine. Okay, let me get rid of this. All right, now we need to do all the cutting. So it's at least all the dies are here, so we don't have to do this by hand or anything. And I'm going to put each piece on, and I'm going to put some low-tack tape right on top. Oops. Okay, now the next size we need is this one. And any of these, as I said before, could be the full tree. You don't have to do the big one. All right. That one. And then the third one. It's right here. And then the fourth piece, this would be a cute little tree too. I need more tape. This is the Crafters Essentials Easy C. I think they have it on Amazon and a couple other places. You could just Google it if you are interested in this. I don't think I did this one right. Okay, and then the last one is just that top. And I'm going to cut these out and I will be right back. All right, here's our 5 pieces. Now this would be such a cute little forest too. All right, so now we need a little bit more of basic white, and we're going to do our presents. I did 2 of the presents, and we need our label for the sentiment. Okay, the presents I'm using Real Red and Granny Apple Green. So let's do the Real Red. So I'm going to do this present. Now this can be up, standing up, or laying down. So I'm going to put that there. We need one of the bows. That's red. All right. And then with Granny Apple Green, we're going to do this present and then the other bow. Okay. And I already cut those out. So we have them right there. Okie doke. Now we need some Tuxedo Black ink, and we're going to stamp the sentiment, "We wish you a Merry Christmas." And I'm just going to put that right in the middle of this nested label die. There we go. All right, and that's it for the stamping. All right, so let's work on our tree right here. So we're going to start with the largest tree, and we're going to need some dimensionals and some liquid glue. All right, so I'm going to put 3 dimensionals on the bottom of the next size tree, and one up a little bit towards the middle. And then just a little bit of glue right here at the top. And then I'm just going to match the top and then attach the dimensionals at the bottom. Okay, and then for the next one, we're going to put 2 dimensionals here and one just a little bit higher. And again, some liquid glue at the top. Now, this is how I do it. I don't know. There's probably plenty other ways to do it too. All right, and then I'm just going to attach the top and then put the push the dimensionals down. And then this one, I'm just going to put dimensionals on the bottom here. And friggin' spider. Some liquid glue at the top. I'm going to attach that one. And as you see, it just becomes more layered as you go up. And then the final one, I'm just going to use an edge of the dimensional at the bottom. And liquid glue on the tip. And I'm just going to attach that. Oops. And that's your tree. All nice and layered. Okay, so now for the presents. I'm going to put the red bow on the green package. And the green bow on the red package. Okay. Now we need our pieces of garland. Now, if we do have adhesive sheets, I should have attached a little piece of what you would do is find the die, which would be this one right here. I would cut a piece of adhesive roughly that size and attach it to the back of your real red cardstock and then cut the whole thing, and then these will automatically be stickers. But I couldn't find it today, so I'm just gonna put little bits of glue, which is the hard way, but. And then I'm just going to add my garland on, and it's just the same way. It's going to go from small to big. And I start, whatever side I end at down here is where I start first with the next one on the next branch. And then the next biggest one is on the next, and all the way down. There you go. Okay, now we need our box, and I'm going to put a 3/8 inch low profile Velcro, adhesive backed Velcro dot for the closure. So I'm going to put one here and then the other type on top of it, adhesive up, and we're going to close our box, open it gently, and then reinforce that. Okay. All right, now I'm just gonna, I think I did, yes, I'm just gonna glue my tree to the front because it already has a whole bunch of dimensionals already. And I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch on the bottom there. And then I'm gonna get my star that I cut out of Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to put a mini dimensional on there. There we go. Alrighty. Now we just need our presents. Now we have the presents, and I'm going to put a regular dimensional on the back of each one. And I'll put the green one down first, right here. And then the red one I'm just going to overlap just a little bit and a little bit lower. Okay, now we'll open up our box, and we're just going to glue this right in the inside. Okay, let's make sure that it's nice and set, and then you can close it. And then for the final touch, I'm going to be adding some blooming pearls to the tree, and I'm going to use the gold ones. going to put one right there, one right there, and one right there. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. It was quite a task for me today, I have to say. My hands show it. If you have any questions, my email is below, along with the link to my blog that has all the measurements, and the link to my shop where you can purchase these products, and also the link to my Facebook group, which I put a lot of different information over there. If you'd like to become a member, just join and I'll approve it, usually the same day. Alrighty, have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.